I'm not sure. This is Nima Goldby on KUCI 88.9 Irvine. There was supposed to be a legal disclaimer, but it never played. It doesn't play, so I'll try to get that going. Uh, well, hello and welcome to the next episode of Cinéshow. On last week's show, what did we talk about? I can't remember what we talked about. Oh yeah, it was Beverly Hills Cop. I can confess that I have not seen another movie this week, unfortunately. I was a bit busy. Of course, it was 4th of July and all that. Um, had a pretty good time during that couple day period. Um, but today I think we're gonna just do some trivia from various franchises. All right. I'm looking at this, I think on the screen today, I can see like how many people are listening to the show. I'm just trying to figure out how to read it, but it's either one person or 24. I can't figure it out. Okay, let's go to IMDb. Actually, no, sorry, I said trivia, so let's start with Marvel trivia. Marvel, let's go like by phase. Phase 1 trivia. Alright, let's try the BuzzFeed quiz. I always check BuzzFeed, because sometimes they have good quizzes. I like the ones where you like get 4 choices. That's the ones I click on, so this is a good one. So, question number 1. In the movie Iron Man, Tony Stark is kidnapped when he travels to what country? Iran, Syria, Kazakhstan, or Afghanistan? This was Afghanistan. The first 2 Iron Man movies in particular are, they're so, like, dated in the sense that you can tell people's... It honestly kind of makes me nostalgic in a way because people's, like, concerns, but also, like, what they thought was cool was so different than it is now. For instance, in Iron Man 2, there's scenes that I would have thought were really cool when I was a kid, but now are completely just so cringe. Like, there's, like, these really over-exaggerated hacking scenes where, like, I think it's Scarlett Johansson, so Black Widow is, like, typing, and she's, like, hacking into the mainframe, and it's so lame. But I know I would have found that really cool as a kid. And then, of course, Iron Man 1 is, like, the terrorists were, like, the biggest problem we had. Or at least it was the biggest concern people had because, like, 9/11 was still in people's, like, short-term memory. But now, like, I don't know, what would the biggest concern even be? I don't know. I don't even know if we have anything that is as big. I don't know. It's certainly nothing to put in a movie that would make for a good like backdrop. But yeah, so he was in Afghanistan, and it was a scene I really like. They're like testing a weapon that can like get the guys in the mountains in the tunnels, and then like the caravan of trucks is ambushed, and they get or Tony Stark gets kidnapped. So, question number 2. This is a hard one from the same movie. What is the number of the sector in which Obadiah Stane creates his suit? And Obadiah Stane is the villain in Iron Man 1. He's played by Jeff Bridges. He's a pretty good villain. I like him. He's sort of like... He's basically Tony Stark's like right-hand man in his business, but he's sort of trying to do a coup against Tony and like kick him out of the company, and it all sort of gets violent, and it turns out he's like a really bad guy. So this is a hard one. What sector does he create his suit? Sector 14, 12, 14, 12, 19, or 16? I'm going to say 19 because it just sounds good. It's 16. Okay. Which Avenger made a cameo in The Incredible Hulk? Steve Rogers, Natasha Romanoff, Tony Stark, or Clint Barton? So Incredible Hulk I actually like the movie a lot. It's pretty good. The ending is a little bit anticlimactic, I would say, especially because like the CGI isn't good enough to like make the fight good. But like the story is pretty good, and Ed Norton is good. Same with Liv Tyler. And it's kind of also like a more gritty story. But the cameo is it's at the end of the movie, and it is Tony Stark. It's a really good scene. It's a good movie. It's a real shame I've heard that they want to reboot the Hulk. Wait, let me check if that's accurate. Of course we got She-Hulk, which was a disaster. Okay, so they scrapped the Hulk movie. Okay. I guess Disney never wants to go with a good idea. Hulk needs a movie. And they kind of destroyed Hulk throughout the, even though, like, the first, wait, hold on. Is it phase 4, right? Was the last good phase? Or was it phase 3? Oh, no, okay, phase 3. Like, obviously in the first 3 phases, the content was really good, but Hulk was really downgraded into like a non-character. Thor was also hurt, but nobody suffered as much as Hulk, played by Mark Ruffalo. Like in the first movie, the first Avengers movie, he was introduced, he was like this sort of, he was like a ticking time bomb basically, and he was a threat to be reckoned with, or a force to be reckoned with. But he was also like likable as a character. Like he had like problems with like his depression from having this problem where he's like always on the verge of destroying everything. And then he's obviously very smart and talented. But then like he was more interesting because when they were on the aircraft carrier that flies, I don't know how you say it, when he was like ready to like wreck the whole ship, that whole dynamic was really good because everybody was sort of worried about him, and they really got it good. They made him like a really tough character, but also like someone you can sympathize with. And then like gradually he became more and more of a goofball, and then like after Age of Ultron he just disappeared, but then like somehow he like teleported through a different galaxy, and then he ended up in Guardians of the Galaxy, and it was all very confusing. But they basically turned him into a goof that couldn't even use his power, which this is the problem with Marvel sometimes. Like the humor is really good and it works really well, but in certain cases they abuse the talent for making good jokes at the expense of some of their characters. Like Hulk was the biggest one. They made him into a total loser. But then like Thor, they kind of just made him into a bum because like, oh, it's funny. He sits around and drinks beer all day and he like plays Fortnite. Yeah, those were the two big abuses, but I don't think there was many others. I think all the other humor kind of worked. Guardians of the Galaxy was like their best use of humor because it was such a good thing, and they actually had like characters that started off as goofballs rather than like taking a serious character with like serious story and problem and like turn him into a goof. That didn't make sense. Oh, and sorry, I didn't mean to say that Thor, I mean, that Hulk reappeared in Guardians of the Galaxy. I meant to say in Ragnarok, not Guardians of the Galaxy. That was my mistake. But wow, we got really off track. We did talk about Incredible Hulk on another episode of this show. A few months ago, I watched it. Oh, look. Perfect next question, though. Complete the phrase said by Bruce Banner. You wouldn't like me when I'm blank. Sleepy, hungry, happy, or angry. Wow, this is a really hard one. Oh man, I got it wrong. I guess as you wouldn't like me when I'm hungry. What? I actually don't remember that one. Okay. Oh, it's from the original Hulk movie. Okay, I thought it was from like Avengers. Alright, in Iron Man 2, which city was the F1 race that Tony takes part in held? Berlin, Milan, Monaco, and Jakarta. Yeah, that definitely wasn't Jakarta, I'll tell you that. It was in Monaco. And I like that scene because I think he takes the Rolls Royce out on the track, and I think it gets destroyed, which is hard to watch, but also fun to watch. Let me see. Iron Man 2 Rolls Royce destroyed. I think I'm remembering that right. Yeah, the Rolls Royce gets destroyed. I like the Iron Man trilogy, even though it's like, it's definitely nowhere near as good as the Captain America one, and it's very lightweight on story, but I just liked, I like the action, and also, it's Tony Stark, it's Iron Man, that's my favorite MCU character for sure. Then I would say it's Captain America, I would say, and then probably Thor. Yeah, I think that's my top 3. Unless I'm forgetting someone. Yeah, after we do this, we're done with this quiz. Let's rank the characters, and then we'll go to phase 2, and then phase 3, and then that might be the whole show. So this can be a Marvel show, which I always like talking about Marvel. It's easy for me to do. I watched the movies so many times. I'm probably going to go home and watch one. Which element in Tony Stark's reactor is poisoning him? Palladium, platinum, iridium, or titanium? I think it's iridium. Oh no, it's palladium. Okay, well, I was never good at chemistry, so it's fine. Who does Loki freeze in the movie Thor? Jane Foster, Odin, Laufey, Heimdall. Can't even remember who Laufey is. That must be that other girl, that sidekick girl. That's kind of annoying. I don't think he freezes Jane, and I don't think he freezes Odin, so I'm gonna say Heimdall. Yes, correct. So that's how he comes to Earth, I think. Thor #1 is underrated. I think it's a pretty good movie. And I think #2 is also underrated. I remembered it being a lot worse. It's definitely not as good of a story, but it's good action. But Thor 1 is really good, and they were doing like a good origin story, and like it was about him accepting responsibility to become a leader, and then they just fumbled the bag, and then for some reason they turned him into a moron in the last couple movies. And then in the latest Thor movie, they like fully turned him into a guy that doesn't want to accept any responsibility. He doesn't want to be king. He just gave it to a Valkyrie or whatever, who's like really annoying. But it's more so that they did instead of doing a character arc where the character grows, it's like a character circle where you start in one place and you end up in the exact same place. He started off immature, and then for some reason he's still immature by the end of his story. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Alright, in Thor 1, which of the 9 realms do the frost giants live in? Nidavellir, Svartalfheim, Jotunheim, or Alfheim. It's either like all of these kind of sound right, except Svartalfheim. I think Jotunheim is. I'm gonna go with Nidavellir. No, it was Jotunheim. Oh man. Okay, this is a good movie. In the movie Captain America: The First Avenger, which is one of my favorites for sure, it's underrated. Definitely underrated. How many times did Steve Rogers enlist before he was recruited by Erskine, who is played by that awful actor Stanley Tucci? He's the only part of that movie I don't like. He's just a bad actor. He's really annoying. Twice, 0, 7, or 5. 5 or 7? 5. Yes! Got it right. Where's the recruitment station where Steve is finally allowed to enlist? The lobby of the Empire State Building, the World's Fair, Paramus, New Jersey, or Niagara Falls? It's not Niagara Falls. Was it the World's Fair? Because I know he went there. I'm gonna just say World's Fair. Okay, that was correct. I'm doing pretty good on this test. In the Avengers, who is the first character that Loki brainwashes with his scepter? Clint Barton, Natasha Romanoff, Maria Hill. Who is Maria Hill? Eric Selvig. Let me see who Maria Hill is for a second. Oh, Maria Hill is is Nick Fury's right-hand woman. The first person he brainwashes, I think it was Clint, and then he brainwashes Eric Selvig, who is the doctor. Not the doctor, the scientist. I think it's Clint first. Oh no, it was Eric Selvig first. Okay. My mistake. Oh, this is a good quote. Fill in the blank. If we can't blank the earth, you can be... I don't know if I can say that on air, but let's say... darn well sure we'll avenge it. Is it save, guard, protect, or defend? I actually don't remember what it was. I like this quote, but I can't remember. It's not guard. If we can't guard the earth, that's not it. It's probably not protect. It's probably save or defend. I'm gonna go save. Oh, it was protect. Dang it, I only got 6 out of 12 right. That's embarrassing. Okay, so we're gonna now, before we do a phase 2 quiz, And hopefully BuzzFeed has one because, oh, they do. Okay. Yes, nice. BuzzFeed does make really good quizzes. I have to give them credit. Not a great news source for sure, but good quizzes. Okay, so let's do phase 1 through 3 Avengers, and I will rank. I'll bring up like a picture and I'll rank every single one. Okay, I can't find any. The Avengers. Heroes. Wow, this is a really extended version. It's like, I think there's like 32. I'm not gonna rank 32. I want like the main 15 or 10. Trying to find. Okay, you know what? I'll use that picture and I'll just wing it. Let me zoom it in. It's kind of hard to see. How do I zoom? Okay, there you go. So, number 1 for sure is Iron Man. Number 2 for sure is Captain America. Number 3, you gotta consider Thor's arc. Like, it didn't end up well. Oh, man. Same with Winter Soldier. He should have been the Captain America replacement. Alright, I'm gonna say... You know what? I'm just gonna give it to Thor because... despite its bad ending, he's still probably my favorite, third favorite. Do we consider Winter Soldier involved in this? Because I will say Winter Soldier is number 4. Number 5, I would go Doctor Strange. He might be number 4. He's really good. Number 5, I would say... Oh no, I just did number 5. Whoops. Number 6, sorry. Does Nick Fury count? He's not an Avenger. If he does count, he's like number 4. And this has Loki as an Avenger. This is an insane picture I'm looking at. Okay, I'll say Nick Fury is 4. Number 5 is Winter Soldier. No, 4 is Winter Soldier, 5 Nick Fury, Doctor Strange is 6. Okay, do we count Loki or no? Loki is number 7. Number 8, I would say, is Black Widow. Number 9. Once again, Vision I liked in Ultron, but then they turned him into a side character. Who do I like better, Black Panther or Star-Lord? I'd say Star-Lord for number 9. I'm not going to consider Groot or the Raccoon. No. Nebula, no. War Machine I like too. So I'm going to say I probably like War Machine better than Black Panther. Okay, but no. Spider-Man, then War Machine. Then I would say is probably Hulk. Mainly just because of the first Avengers movie where he's really good. Then I would say it's Hawkeye. Then Scarlet Witch, who I do like. I like all these characters. We haven't gotten into ones I don't like. Then Black Panther. I'm not a big fan of Ant-Man, I will say so. I don't know, I've totally lost track. Falcon, I don't like. I don't like Falcon, and I don't like Ant-Man. So those are my. Falcon's my least favorite character. So Ant-Man, and then Falcon is my least favorite. There's a bunch of people on here that shouldn't be on here. I guess they're technically Avengers in the end game, but I'm not going to count them. Groot, Raccoon, Nebula, Mantis. I don't really consider those. They consider the Maria Hill lady, Wong, Shuri, M'Baku. These are not Avengers. No way. Ned, the guy that's Peter Parker's friend. How is the Collector an Avenger? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, you know what? That was a disaster, but I hope you could follow along with that one. That was difficult. Okay, so back to quizzes, and we're about at the halfway mark. It is really hot in here. I am sweating like a pig. In Iron Man 3, what is the name of Maya Hansen and Aldrich Killian's work? Whew. There is no chance I'm getting this. Rebirth, Pegasus, Artis, or Extremis? Pegasus is the thing that sounds the most unique. I'm just gonna go with that. It's Extremis. That's a terrible name. What is the name of Scott Lang's ex-wife, who is Cassie's mom in Ant-Man? Let's just talk about Ant-Man. So, when these movies were coming out in theaters, I saw every single one minus Ant-Man, and I always kind of felt like, oh, why didn't I watch Ant-Man? And then I years later watched them, and I can say they're the worst of the first three phases, and it's not even particularly close. Other than Captain Marvel, of course, but I don't even consider that. But other than that, they're bad. They are so boring. They're boring. They have terrible villains, really, really generic stories, literally just a bad heist movie. And you barely need to watch them. You can just watch in Endgame where Ant-Man is in the car with the teleporter or the time travel machine. That's just how I watched it. Okay, but what is the name of Scott Lang's ex-wife? Chloe, Maggie, Hope, Janet. I'm gonna say Maggie. Oh, I was right. Well, that's pretty impressive. During the opening battle in Avengers Age of Ultron, what is the name of the Hydra leader that the Avengers are attacking? Okay, let's talk about Age of Ultron. So I'm not just doing trivia, I'm doing reviews. I think Age of Ultron, without doubt, is the worst Avengers film, but I think it's underrated, and I actually think it's a really good movie. It's definitely nowhere near as good as the other ones, but I like it. It has good action. It's got this really cool, slow-mo cinematic fight at the end, which is really good. Ultron himself is a good villain, even though it's kind of it's a weird, story that's kind of not realistic or believable. But I like the movie a lot. So, is his name Eric Lenscher, Alexander Pierce, Obadiah Stone, or Baron Strucker? It's not Alexander Pierce. That's Robert Redford's character from Winter Soldier. It was a really good character. And then Obadiah Stane is the guy from um, Iron Man 1. Baron Strucker sounds really familiar, but also Eric Lenscher. That sounds really German, and the guys were German. I'm gonna say it's Baron Strucker. Yes. Who's Eric Oh, Eric Lenscher? Isn't that Yeah, that's Magneto's name. That's why it sounded so familiar. Okay. When Captain America hides Fury's USB drive in a vending machine, what candy does he put it behind? Wow, that's hard. But I'm pretty sure I remember this because I love this. The whole way the scene is in this in that movie is really good. I highly recommend that film. Chocolate bar, bubblegum, Skittles, or packaged cupcake? I believe it was bubblegum. Yes. I would say Winter Soldier is a top 3, maybe even one of the best MCU projects they ever made. It was the first of the Russo brothers films, and those of you that don't know, they made Avengers Endgame, they made Infinity War, Winter Soldier, and Civil War, and maybe another one, I can't remember, but this was their debut film, and it was a genuinely great, like, spy action film that had way more, like, brutal, gritty action, like, more guns, and, like, hand-to-hand combat rather than, like, superhero fighting. It's got, like, an amazing car chase, really good story, and it, like, also poses some interesting, like, thought-provoking questions, and it's, like, done in a really, like, balanced way. It's, like, a really, really good film. I highly recommend it. I love that movie. It's amazing. Okay, in Thor Dark World, what is the name of Darcy's intern's intern? What are these questions? Sammy, Liam, Ian, Joey. Ian sounds pretty good. Yes! I got an amazing memory. Ian, I remember. That movie is good, I would say. Definitely pretty good. It's nothing special, but it's a good, like, disposable action movie. Okay, in the Guardians of the Galaxy, who's the last Guardian to be introduced? Rocket, Gamora, Drax, or Groot? Well, first off, Guardians of the Galaxy, good movie, very good. It was like a change of pace. They tried to do like more of a comedy film and like a space movie. Good cast of characters. Who was the last person? I would say Rocket and Groot come together, so I would say it's either Drax or Gamora. I would say Drax. Yes. At Tony's party in Age of Ultron, who is the first Avenger to attempt lifting Mjolnir? And Mjolnir, for those of you that don't know, is Thor's hammer, the original one. So is it Tony, Clint, Bruce? For some reason I thought Bruce Wayne, but it's Bruce Banner or Rhodey, who is War Machine. James Rhodes is his name. I think it was Bruce Banner. That's what my memory says. Tony and Clint lifted together, I think. I'm gonna say Bruce. Oh, it was Clint. That's an L. Ant-Man. In Ant-Man, what does Luis steal that gets him sent to jail? Jewelry, espresso maker, clothes from American Eagle, or a smoothie machine? It's either like a smoothie machine or the clothes, because this whole movie they're trying to like push this character as very funny, but he's just annoying. I want to say it's clothes. Smoothie machine. That was my second guess. Which of these SHIELD agents was not working for Hydra in Captain America and the Winter Soldier? Sharon Carter. Well, obviously she's not. Brock Rumlow. So I think this is supposed to say Alexander Pierce, but it says Jalexander Pierce. But I'm just going to say that's a typo. Or Jasper Sitwell. Sitwell, yes. Rumlow, yes. Alexander Pierce, yes. It's Sharon Carter, who is the daughter of what was her name? Amanda Carter? Oh no, she's the, hold on. I forgot how she's related. Oh, she was the great niece of Peggy Carter, who Steve was in love with in the first one. Let me see. Where does Thor go to find Erik Selvig in the Age of Ultron? Norway, Scotland, Australia, or England? Well, wasn't he like arrested for being naked at Stonehenge, which is in northern England? And then the movie takes place in England, so that stands to reason it's probably in England. It's either England or Scotland, I feel. Or could it be Norway? I'm going to say England. Okay, it is England. What year was Peter Quill abducted by Yondu in Guardians of the Galaxy? 1978, 84, 74, 88. Gotta just do a calculation. He was probably kidnapped when he was 10. And he's probably like 30 by the time the movie takes place. So that stands to reason, which I'm going to keep saying because it makes me sound smart. I'm going to say he was born in like 1978, 10. I'm going to say 1988. It's either 88 or 84. 84 kind of sounds better. I'm going to say 88. Yeah! Look at that. That's how you get away with not studying for the test. You just use logic. Or I saw something that was so true on like Twitter or something. It was like girls while taking the test, and it was like all about like studying and all this other stuff. And then it was like boys while taking the test. It's like, I've chosen C too many times. And I thought that's so true. Because that's, every time I take a test, I'm like, well, wait a minute, there can't be 3 C's in a row. That's just not, that's not happening. But when all else fails, just pick C if you don't know the answer. That might be terrible advice. That's what I always do. Which of these Guardians of the Galaxy characters appear in Thor: The Dark World mid-credit scene? What is a mid-credit scene? That doesn't make any sense. What is a mid-credit scene? Does it mean end credit? It has to be an end credit. Because, yeah, it's an end credit teasing the next movie. Ronan the Collector, Nova Prime, or Yondu. You wouldn't show Nova Prime or Yondu because nobody knows who that is. You might show the Collector, but you would almost definitely show Ronan because he's the guy people know from the comics. I'm gonna say Ronan. Oh no, it was the Collector. Oh yeah, because it was related to the Infinity Stone, I think. Okay, that makes sense. That was my second choice. What state does Tony crash land in Iron Man 3? Colorado, Tennessee, Mississippi, or Utah? It's not Colorado or Utah because I'm almost certain it was in the South. It can't be Mississippi, I don't think, because too south. I think it's in the middle of the South and the North. I'm going to go with Tennessee. Yes. Look at this. This is logic. This is tremendous logic and I don't know. I'm just like basically it's like clutch victory. No studying. And finally, what was Ultron's last line spoken in his movie? But if you stay here, you'll die. You're unbearably naive. Don't you see the beauty of it, the inevitability? You know, with the benefit of hindsight. This is a trick question because technically, I'm pretty sure the last line Ultron speaks is to Vision, but it's not technically him. It's one of his like goons, but it's like his brain is in all of his henchmen, his soldiers. But I think this is saying what is the last thing he said. And I think he probably said, with the benefit of hindsight. You know, with the benefit of hindsight, that's a pretty good way to die. Oh no. It was you're unbearably naive. Oh, it is. No, it's talking about, I was right. It is talking about one of his soldiers. It's not talking about him for real. Oh, so I got 9 out of 14. That's not bad. There were some hard questions here. Alright, we got about... Technically, I have about 16 more minutes because I don't have a person after me. And I just have a pre-recorded show, so... Yeah, I think we have time to do Marvel Phase 3 quiz. And I've really enjoyed this episode. We started out a little bit rocky with the legal disclaimer not working, which I don't know why it didn't work, but it did not. But let's get into this quiz right away. Good old BuzzFeed, which I think has gone bankrupt. I think they're like in the process of reorganizing. Okay, which of these Guardians of the Galaxy members does not meet more than one Avengers in Infinity War? That's difficult. Star-Lord, Drax, Gamora, Rocket Raccoon. Drax meets a lot because, and so does Star-Lord, because they're on Titan when the big fight happens, which is a great scene. Rocket Raccoon. I don't even remember him in this movie. Why can't I remember him? He is in the movie, I know that. It must be Gamora, though, because she dies early. Yep. She only meets Thor. Okay. In Doctor Strange, what fruit does Stephen first practice the Time Stone on? These are difficult. Watermelon, banana, apple, grape. How do you use the time stone on a fruit? Oh yeah, because he bites it and then he uses a time stone and it goes back. I think it was an apple. Because you can't bite a watermelon. Really. But it's not a banana. It's not a grape. It's too small. It's an apple for sure. Yes. What is the name of the last remaining sovereign pilot at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? That's difficult. Really difficult. Zavin, Xylac, Corbin, or Morlin? It's probably like Xylac. Whoa, I'm right. We're on a roll. Which two items does Killmonger steal from the museum in Black Panther? Vibranium and a mask and some armor, a dagger and a hat, vibranium and a dagger. Memory's a bit fuzzy, but I think that it would be vibranium and a mask. Because he wants to hide his identity. Yep, true. So, I watched Black Panther the first time in theater and I thought it was like okay. But then like on second watch, I actually thought it was way better. I actually think it's like quite a good movie. It's definitely not Oscar worthy because it won an Oscar and people were acting like it's the best movie or the best Marvel movie, but definitely not nearly the best Marvel movie, but it's definitely like a B tier. It's definitely B tier. It's up there with some of their better releases. So maybe give Black Panther another chance if you were a bit lukewarm on it when you first saw it. I liked it. So what's Tony's first line in Endgame? Hey, Miss Potts, if you find this recording, don't feel bad about this. You don't need to do that, and congratulations. No, and you've won, congratulations. Feel the tension, it's fun. I think it's you don't need to do that. Yes. I'm amazing at this. I bet many Marvel fans can't do this. I challenge anybody. Come on my show. I'll beat you at trivia. Which Lego creation do Peter and Ned, that guy's apparently an Avenger according to that list, plan to build in Spider-Man Homecoming? Oh, I know this. The Death Star, Batmobile, Volcano, or Hogwarts? I'm pretty sure it was the Death Star because... Wait, Spider-Man Homecoming... That's the first one, right? Yeah, so this movie was like good, but very forgettable. It wasn't like a really special story or anything. I watched it once in theaters and kind of forgot about it. Man, that was in 2017. Oh man, take me back. And it was good, but it was forgettable. But I'm almost certain they wanted to build the Death Star because it seems Peter Parker is always talking about Star Wars. Like, he mentions Empire Strikes Back in Civil War. Yep, it is the Death Star. No, real ones know the Death Star is not the best Lego they have. It's the Star Destroyer. The Imperial Star Destroyer. I saw they released the prequel. I think it's called the Venator class Star Destroyer. I was very tempted to buy that, but then I'm like, I don't want to waste money. I just want to save money. But I was very tempted to buy it, although I have no clue where I put it. But I have space, just not in my room. Definitely not in my room. In Ant-Man and the Wasp, what fake name does Hope use talking to Sonny Birch? Karen, Susan, Stephanie, Allison. Another junk movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Waste of time. And I've got no clue. It's either like Karen or Susan. Believe it or not, my hand accidentally clicked Susan, and it was right. Have I got a single one wrong? How is this happening? These are hard questions too. This is 200 IQ. Oh man, we only have 9 minutes. In Thor Ragnarok on Sakaar, Korg compares Thor to a previous contender who died in the Grandmaster's arena. What was his name? Miek, Barry, James, or Doug? I think it was Doug. That was funny. Yeah, but it is Doug. Where in California did Killmonger grow up in Black Panther? Sacramento, LA, Carlsbad, or Oakland? Well, it's obviously not Sacramento, can't be Carlsbad. I'm pretty sure it was like Compton, which is LA. It could also have been Oakland. Oakland sounds right to me. But then they go open their embassy up in Oakland. Why would you open that in Oakland? That's the worst place you could possibly... I'm going to say LA. No, it was Oakland. Oh. Oh my god. No. I was going for the sweep. I knew it was Oakland. I knew it. I bet if it was Compton, they would have put Compton. They wouldn't have put LA. Oh man. That's rough. I was going for a sweep. In the opening scene of Captain America Civil War, where does it take... The opening scene to Captain America Civil War takes place which year? 1981, 1991, 1979. No, 1997, sorry. Or 2003. Well, the opening scene... The opening scene is the Winter Soldier, right? Is that what it is? Like he's doing an assassination? Oh, no, that's Civil War. I can't really remember what the thing was. It's probably something to do with the Soviet Union. So let's use our brains here. Soviet Union was disbanded in 1991. It did not exist in 2003 or 1997. It's probably 1981. No, it was 1991. Okay. It opens with a Winter Soldier's mission in 1991. Okay. What was the name of Ego's plan in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? The expansion, the purification, the exemption, the dissension? Probably the expansion. Yes. I love Kurt Russell, and I love that movie. Well, I didn't love it, but I liked it the first time I watched it, but I don't know if I just had a bad experience the second time, but I thought the movie was really boring and kind of dumb. But Kurt Russell is actually one of my favorite actors. I think he's really cool. And he's like cool off screen too, which is always a plus. Because sometimes you like a celebrity, and then you find out that it usually doesn't affect me, but it's definitely not fun to realize they're kind of lame outside their characters. 5 minutes. Okay, we gotta rush. Following his 2 years of house arrest, how many years does Agent Wu say that Scott will be on probation in Ant-Man? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. I'm not even gonna try on the Ant-Man ones. It's 3, so we're definitely not going for a sweep. Which of these Spider-Man Far From Home characters did not appear in Homecoming? Rad. I don't know what that is. I've actually never seen Spider-Man Far From Home, believe it or not. That's the one... Yeah, that's the one that came out right after Endgame. I never watched it. It was just there was no stakes. I was invested in, like, the main story. Supposedly it was good. What does Vision cook for Wakanda in Civil War? Not Wakanda, Wanda. Bellini, beef stroganoff, chicken noodle soup, or paprikash. It was paprikash. I remember that because it sounded interesting. It sounds good, like the way they describe it in the movie. Let me search it up and I'll describe it to the good folks at home. I think it's like Hungarian or something. Paprikash. Yeah, it is Hungarian. It's basically like braised chicken and a sauce of onions, garlic, water, and paprika. I think Hungarian food's probably really good. I want to try it. What do the Kree refer to as Earth in Captain Marvel? Another movie I don't really know much about. A27, B15, C20, C53. It's probably like C53 or C20. I'm going to say C53. Yes. I am amazing. What's Valkyrie's scrapper number on Sakaar in Thor Ragnarok? 119, 142, 198, 207. This is just so hard. I'm going to say there are 3 that are under 200. That suggests to me that it's probably under 200. I'm just going to say 119. No, 142. I should have gone in the middle. Okay. Which of these quotes finally gets Wong to laugh in Doctor Strange? Just Wong, like Adele, Beyonce. Wong, Mr. Doctor, Steven. It's strange. Wong. Maybe, but who am I to judge? The warnings always come after spells. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. I don't know. I'm going to say it's the Beyonce thing. No, it's the warnings. The warnings come after the spells. Yeah, I don't know the context of that, so it's not funny. In an attempt to sit next to MJ in Spider-Man Far From Home, what does Peter pretend to be allergic to? Cats, peanuts, latex, perfume. Peanuts. Nope, perfume. While bonding with Talos' daughter in Captain Marvel, what does Monica requests that she never changes while shape-shifting? Smile, voice, eyes, nose. Smile. Eyes. Okay, I am nuking this. I'm getting a lot wrong. While leaving Happy a voicemail in Spider-Man Homecoming, what kind of snack does Peter reveal it was gifted by an old woman? I'm so sorry. I'm not doing this good. Ice cream cone. That's a churro. In Avengers Infinity Wars, how many heroes are snapped away on screen? This is difficult. I would put more thought into it, but we're running out of time. 10. No, it's 12. And finally, in Avengers Endgame, what are Natasha Romanoff's final or last words? Whatever it takes, let me go. It's okay. You tell him yourself. It's not you tell him yourself. It's not whatever it takes. It's either let me go or it's okay. I think it's okay. Yes. I only got 48%. I bombed on the last half of the quiz. I bet if I put more effort, I would have, if we had more time, I would have done better. Okay, anyway. Yes, that has been a good episode of Cinéshow. We got up to a lot. And yes, this has been Nima Golvai on KUCI 88.9 Irvine. Oh man, I think I accidentally clicked out of the tab I was supposed to do the pre-recorded show on. Oops. Okay, so I'm gonna go solve that, but for like a minute or two, we're gonna have some music. And I'm with you to the end of the line.